welcome to this conversation with Dr. Pai on multiple issues: reproductive health, motherhood and sport, young athletes, how about their nutrition, what needs to be done on that front. Firstly, ma'am, thank you very much for your time. Welcome to my show. You know, the more I see young Indian athletes from rural India, from hinterlands, from tier 2, tier 3 cities coming to the fore, all of these things are happening now. Can you give me a sense, about their nutrition, sports science? All of these things have become extremely important going forward.
Yes.
So, give me a sense of how important these issues are for people in terms of awareness, especially budding athletes, girls, would-be mothers, and professional women.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because in India, sports was never a priority, especially amongst women, especially in rural areas. So the whole scenario is really changing today. And it's really time to start this whole conversation, because sports is not just about training or, working towards achieving excellence in a particular sport. It's the entire package, and nutrition forms a huge component of that package, particularly in women, because there are so many individual issues, like their menstruation, for example. So if they are bleeding heavily, if they have pain during their periods, they will be very often anemic because they lose so much blood every month, whether they have, a menstrual cramps. So all of these things actually need to be discussed openly. Not only in India, even worldwide, not much conversation is happening. And now there's a focus that, let's talk about women athletes, because they are competing at, really high levels of excellence. And so I think right from the beginning, if Indian athletes are made, especially women athletes, are made aware of nutrition, most of them are anemic. So if we can give them good nutrition, rich in iron supplements maybe, take care of their menstrual cycles, take care of their hormonal issues. Very many of them suffer from polycystic ovarian syndrome, from thyroid disorders. They have common problems like fibroids, endometriosis. So all of these issues have to be addressed, because you cannot isolate health from, your professional career, whether it's sports or otherwise. And so
very well spoken there, ma'am. Very well spoken. If I can also add to what we've already put on the table, the issue of reproductive health and motherhood, because I'm seeing, you can also say Indian athletes like Sanya, who's a dear friend of mine. Yes. And I can see how she became this symbol for empowerment for would-be mothers and mothers, right? So give me a sense of reproductive health and motherhood and sport, your thoughts on that.
Yes. So, everything is so sort of interrelated. Very heavy duty athletes, for example, those are runners, or those who are gymnasts, or those who do a lot of ballet or dancing. Those are basically very thin, have very low body fat, very often go into stoppage of periods, or what we call amenorrhea. So almost 40% of women athletes who are into intense sports will have stoppage of periods. Now, if this is temporary, it's fine, but many of them have long periods in which they don't get their menstrual cycles. This is because of a reduction in their body fat. There's almost like not adequate body fat to maintain menstrual cycle. Their hormones are low, their estrogen is low. As a result, they have effect on the bone health. So they very often have weak bones. When women have changes in their menstrual cycle, every month their hormones change. So there are periods in their cycle when they are vulnerable to injuries. The ligaments are very flexible. So they are more prone to, for example, ACL, anterocruciate ligament tears.
Yeah.
They're more prone to shoulder sort of instability. So they are, and they have mood changes, related to the period cycle. Some of them, as a result, go on contraceptive pills because, they don't want a period in the middle of their competition, for example. So many of them are on hormone pills to be able to adjust their period. That also has an impact. Some people suffer from, depression because of hormone pills. Some people have, body changes, water retention. So there are a lot of issues which require balancing. Many of these girls have to maintain a good menstrual calendar, so they can coordinate their training along with their period cycles.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you.
How difficult has it been for you? And you are also a mentor to the girls. So talk to me about bubble life and mental health.
Well, bubbles is the biggest challenge we face. And honestly speaking, 2019, when COVID outbreaks happened, we never thought about it that we are able to play cricket after 6 months. So when we started in a bubbles, initially we thought, yeah, it's just a bubbles, nothing like it, we can manage. But if you're playing for 6 months at one stage, that means you're going bubbles to another bubbles. That means you're cut off your lifestyle from others. You are just few people each and every day. You are facing those people only in the morning, evening, night, on the ground itself. And you can't eat food from outside all the time. So whatever resource they have, you have to adjust with that, because it's a tough, it's not easy. Don't forget that with bubbles there is a quarantine period also there, 10 days. Some countries are 14 days, in India 6 days, 5 days. So it's quite challenging staying in those room. You're not getting outside fresh air, you're always in a aircon. It's quite tough, quite challenging. That is a things, as a players you need to build your character. That is a time your team start getting bond well. That is a time we know each other better than previous time, because previous time, yes, we spend a lot of time in dressing room, but of the time also you are spending in either in the common room or something like that. That's team bonding also happened, but at the same time, is mental fatigue is always there in a bubble.